Privacy policies, corporate policy in general. Good, important things to have, definitely a foundation for any successful environment, but there are limitations of privacy policies, and we should be aware of that when it comes to protecting our privacy. We're talking about that today.
Welcome to Tech Topics brought to you by Cybervenger. We help keep small businesses stay protected and compliant with cutting-edge cybersecurity and IT solutions.
Okay, so a policy. What is a policy? It's a set of rules and regulations that the organization creates that applies to all the members of that organization, how they do or respond to a thing, whatever that thing is. In the case of privacy policies, it is usually created by the IT department or someone in the upper echelons of the company or organization that dictates how data is going to be stored, how and when it's going to be disclosed, who it would be disclosed to, who it won't be disclosed to, how long you're going to keep it, how you dispose of it, the technical details about how it's kept, the encryption, the hard drives, where, all that stuff, all in a policy. And that's very important to have a good privacy policy. We've talked about this before. This video isn't about writing a good privacy policy. It's about the value and oftentimes the limitations of a privacy policy. So value. It's great for compliance. It's great that you have a plan and an intention. Nothing's ever going to go well if you don't at least have a plan for it to go well and an intention and an effort. So privacy policies are good, but limited. This is the takeaway from the video. Problem with the privacy policies is sometimes it gives us a false sense of security when getting privacy policies from other organizations. There have been innumerable cyber breaches out there. I can go on for hours. I listed a couple in prep for this video just to remind us. Back in last year, all the telecom carriers in the United States were breached by China, and all kinds of information was being ferried back and watched as it went back and forth. United Healthcare was breached, and all medical data such was compromised and taken. There's ransomware all over the place. The AT&T data set had been compromised. MGM Grand, the Colonial Pipeline, Microsoft's cloud email systems were breached back in summer of 2023, and several U.S. government officials' private emails were compromised and read by Chinese Communist Party. So you get an idea here that, yeah, right, nothing's ever going to be perfectly secure. Breaches happen all the time, and it's a real issue that if you entrust an organization with your data based upon the privacy policy, expecting that privacy policy to protect you, it's not. A privacy policy is a good intention and a promise to act in a certain way. Anyone who has ever had to vote in an election knows that promises aren't always kept. They're often made up in the first place with no intention of keeping them, or people change their mind later when it realizes that the promise that can't work. So a promise of privacy is only a promise, and it's about as good as the piece of paper it's printed on. Furthermore, even if people do commit to protecting your privacy on your behalf, they themselves might get breached in a cyber attack. For those two reasons, a privacy policy is of limited value. It's important. You should have a privacy policy when you're dealing with your customers' data where you're being honest and transparent about what you will and won't do with it. And companies should have one and follow it to the best of their ability. But us as consumers need to remember and understand that it's only this much of the puzzle. It's only one layer of protection, and it's not even all that durable. It's just a promise, right? If we're working with somebody, I definitely wouldn't work with somebody that didn't promise not to screw me. But the fact that they're promising not to screw me is only so much. It's only the first step in the journey. So what do? Do you wave your hands and go, okay, I'm going to get hacked, nothing I could do? No, I think it's the wrong philosophy to have. I think the way you protect your data is at the initial collection phase. I think we all are guilty of giving away too much data too easily to anybody. Just because you gave your data away once to one person doesn't mean it's open season to give it away to everybody. I think we've talked before in other videos about the reach of a given breach. Wasn't supposed to rhyme. But just because you've been compromised by one group doesn't mean every bad guy out there has that data too. The less people that have that data, the better. So if you've done bad practices in the past, stop and start doing good practices. It's not too late to change and improve. And the point of all this is we as a consumer base need to start pushing back on companies. Here's an example. My son was in the Scouts. I wanted to volunteer to be a scout dad, be a den leader. I was, in fact, a den leader there. And they wanted my social security number to do a background check on me. Okay, this is good. Background check, verify that people get working with children, right? Okay. But they wanted me to fill out my social security number on a little piece of paper that just sat in a stack that went Lord knows where, with no policy about what's happening to it. The Boy Scouts is not exactly a high security organization. You know what I mean? They could have just as easily hired a third party background check company that wouldn't need my social security number. They could do it off the driver's license number, which is less damaging piece of information that still would yield the same protection results. My wife and I, we refused. We didn't give them that information. And we went up like, look, we're in cybersecurity. This is why you shouldn't be doing this. Here's an alternative that's better. Without going into the debate there, so that's not the point. The point is that these are the dilemmas that the end consumer is faced with all the time. You sign up for social media. A lot of social media companies put in their policy that you need to put real information. You can't use fake birthdays. You can't use fake address. You have to do real identified information, as if they were some kind of authority. What can they do? They're just a company. You know what they could do? They could drop your username. They can kick you off their system. That's it. They can't sue you, and they're going to have to throw you in jail. I say, if you're going to get a Facebook account or a Pinterest account, lie. Give them garbage data. Something that the hackers can't use to steal your identity. There's no good reason for most of these companies to have this information. Or better yet, write a letter to somebody explaining why you're not going to do business with them, not going to give them information because they're collecting information irresponsibly. They're asking information they got no business knowing. Facebook does not need to know your age. You could give them the year you're born. That's reasonable. And maybe we don't want under 18-year-olds looking at certain content or taking involved in whatever. That's fine. But there's plenty of information out there. You're not protecting. The internet will never be a place where you could lock it down entirely. It's too big. We've proven that you cannot stop minors from accessing adult content, adult themes, adult information, and trying to look at you, United Kingdom, and your legislation. If you're trying to collect everybody's data through all these systems and in a very much a vain attempt to protect minors, that's not how you do it. You're compromising. You're just adding additional security violations and risks in collecting data that will probably blow up in your face when China hacks your giant database and uses it to exploit your citizens. So, if you want to protect your data, protect your data. Don't give it out. Refuse. Lie if you have to. I would be careful when you lie to make sure it's an entity that doesn't have any legal registration. Like, don't lie to the court. Don't lie to the government. On an official form. But you're just signing up on social media or something stupid. What are they going to do? Kick you off? Great. They just give themselves the right to kick you off. They have that anyway. Be careful with your data. Don't give it out in the first place. Don't blindly trust a privacy policy because it's really not as strong as people think they are. All right. That's all I got today. Just my little opinion for the day, my op-ed. Hope you all enjoyed it and a great time. See you next video.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.